Well, I have some interesting news regarding the subway terminals regarding Penn Station on the 1, 2, 3 AC and E lines. Yesterday, the MTA sent out a press release regarding the information about station repairs and improvements at both the 7th and 8th Avenue stations. So, we are going to be taking a look at the press release right now. This is the official press release sent out by the MTA yesterday, May 11th. Let's read it, shall we? New York City Transit announced that structural repairs and station improvements at the 34th Street Penn Station subway complex on the 7th Avenue and 8th Avenue lines will begin next Sunday, May 20th. Both stations will remain open and service will be unaffected for the duration of the work. Quoted words from New York City Transit President Andy Byford: Penn Station is a critical hub in the regional transit network, and the two subway stations with this complex are two of the busiest in our entire system. Well, I will sort of agree with him on that. It is busy when you think of the people coming from NJT, Amtrak, and Long Island Railroad, but my opinion, and I'll say this again, I think the Times Square station is the busiest. For many visitors to New York City, this station complex is their first experience of New York City subway. We simply cannot afford to have a major connection point like this fall into disrepair. This hub especially needs to be state-of-the-art, clean, and easy to navigate, and it will be once this important work is complete. Well, I will agree with him on that. It does look outdated. It does look like it needs some work. I will agree with him on that point that he stated from the quote. But honestly, being familiar with Penn Station, and I will say this, I pretty much know how to get around Penn Station, so why is he saying that this hub needs to be, and I'll highlight it, state-of-the-art, clean, and easy to navigate? You know, this is the, for somebody who's familiar with Penn Station, in my case, it's kind of a little bit offensive, but hey, harsh criticism is fair, right? Maybe for the tourists because they're not familiar with Penn Station, but yeah. Crews will make significant repairs at the stations, including leak mitigation and repairs to the structural steel and concrete infrastructure such as station and entrances, walls, and ceilings. So this is another thing that they're paying attention to. They're going to probably try to prevent leaking ceilings because that's my biggest issue. I don't like seeing leaking ceilings. You know me. Other improvements and upgrades will include improved electrical systems like cables, conduits, lining boards, new flooring in mezzanine areas, new stair treads, and illuminated handrails and new wall ties. Two mezzanines will be upgraded with glass barriers, security cameras, LED lighting for increased light and energy efficiency, digital screens, and enhanced signage for easier navigation, including digital real-time service change and train and bus arrival information. Well, I'm going to say this. If they're going to be so enthusiastic and trying to be productive about this, they should be giving information about the Long Island Railroad. Okay, if I'm on the platform and I want to know if there's an issue before I want to get on the train, you know, why don't they do that? And it's the same thing. They should be doing the same thing maybe for NJT. But then again, they're not connected to the MTA, so it would be easier to at least list the Long Island Railroad because honestly, a lot of people do take the ACE 1, 2, and 3 train to go wherever they need to go to in the city. 3 AC and E entrances will be refurbished with new stairs, railing, lighting, and electronic signage that will display service and train information. Two of those entrances on the northeast and southeast corners of West 33rd Street by 8th Avenue, where the post office is, and a 1, 2, 3 entrance on the southwest corner of West 34th Street and 7th Avenue will feature new canopies. Well, this is pretty interesting. They're really pushing this. You know, I will agree with the MTA on this. They have to get this done. The ACE entrance in the northwest corner of West 34th and 8th will be enhanced with glass panels and a new digital signage. Well, if you know Penn a little bit, West 33rd Street by 8th, if you ever see it over there, they do have the sign on top of the... They do have the LED sign on the other thing that says AC and E. So if you're on the west side of Manhattan and you're going to Penn, you should take a look at it, because I've seen it, and they are adding another one on the 34th Street entrance. So this is interesting. Subway service will not be impacted on the 1, 2, 3 AC and E lines. So just to repeat that, subway service will not be impacted. And both stations will remain open for subway service and for connections to New Jersey Transit, Amtrak, and of course, more importantly for me, the Long Island Railroad. Though, for customer safety, some passageway and turnstile areas may be closed during demolition and repairs. So that could be an issue. Some of the repairs will be performed during overnights to minimize disruptions to customers, though small areas may be closed temporarily as crews work on various parts of the mezzanine and turnstile areas. The affected station entrances for 34th Street Penn Station will be closed one at a time to allow for continued customer flow in and out of the station. Well, I hope they're not going to be doing this during on-peak hours for the railroad, because what they need to realize is that on-peak hours are, on weekdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., and from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays. They have to make sure that customers who need to get to the Long Island Railroad during those hours can get on trains. So I'm just looking out for them. The MTA should honestly work with the railroad and, you know, talk to Philip Bing and say, we're going to keep these entrances open so that way Long Island Railroad customers can take the normal entrance from the 1, 2, and 3 train. Because if you are familiar with the 1, 2, and 3 terminal, there is a direct turnstile entrance into Penn Station. And I like that option. It's easier to get on the Long Island Railroad. But I'm hoping that's not going to be closed for a long period of time, I'm hoping. But it's interesting to at least see what they're doing. And just the last point. Contract for the projects was awarded back in February. MTA staff has conducted extensive outreach to local community boards, businesses, elected officials, and other nearby stakeholders, recently detailing the work and signage at the affected stations. Terminal areas will be posted ahead of the scheduled start to alert customers of the work, which is scheduled for less than 8 months. So basically, what they're trying to say is that the estimated completion time, drum roll please, February 2019. So less than 8 months. So that has to at least be, let's think about it, we're already in May. So if you want to give an accurate time frame, at least early February 2019 will be a good estimation. So I'm just gonna end the video with some final thoughts. I am glad Andy Byford is looking out for the customers who use the 7th and 8th Avenue lines to get over to Penn Station. That includes yours truly, considering that I do take the 1, 2, and 3 train. Well, not all at the same time, but I do use one of them once a week from Times Square to get over to Penn to get into the direct entrance, considering that, you know, I really don't take the subway going back into Queens because I know I have bad luck with the subway. And I gotta admit, they're being proactive about this. NYCT realizes, and including Andy Byford, that the work has to be done now. It's now or never. If they get it done early, before the end of the year, that'll be great. But as I said, 8 months, think about it. It's only May 12th. So you have to consider that's at least, when the work starts next Sunday, the 20th, you have to think that, well, that's at least going to be early to mid-February 2019 when this work will be done. So, am I happy they're doing this? Yes. I mean, I hope it's not going to cause too much of an inconvenience, but at least the stations are going to be open. And I'll make this point. If I can't get directly into Penn Station at a time, they're going to close the turnstile area. Well, okay, it's for safety. I get that. If they're going to make us walk on the 34th Street at a time or even 33rd Street, I have no problem with that. I'm also pretty sure there is a 32nd Street entrance. I'm not too sure, but I will say this. They're looking out for us, it looks like, and station improvements. This is a good sign. It's in the city. I get that. But you have to take a look at this from this consideration. If they're focusing on the city, specifically Manhattan, of course, then why can't they consider looking into an outer borough? Because honestly, Union Turnpike is a dump in Kew Gardens. And again, I'm going to keep saying that. Union Turnpike is a dump. So is Forest Hill 71st Avenue. And so is Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue. The only positive thing is at least the 7 platform looks okay. It doesn't look completely outdated. But when you go downstairs to get to the EF-M&R train, it looks like a dump. It looks like it was done in the 1980s. I'm sorry for ranting and raving, but if Penn Station can get this brand new enhancement that they're so optimistic about, then why can't Andy Byford realize that we have a situation in Queens where our stations are outdated? They're very outdated. I'll even quickly bring up the Jamaica 179th Street station. That sees a lot of customers too. Also, the 169th Street station could have a overhaul. That one needs work too. So you do have people who take the 3031 to get over there, but that's just it. I mean, I gave some final thoughts. I'm very happy that they're focusing on Penn Station because honestly, Penn Station does need work. Not just the subways, but the Long Island Railroad area could use some work. And I'll quickly mention, I have seen some old pictures of the old Penn Station when it used to be in its glory days, but now it's like you're in a dump. So hopefully with the subways, that's one good sign the MTA is paying attention. So, that's where I end it. Till next time, take care.